IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Made in India, hosted by May Thomas, where she brings exclusive acoustic sessions and interviews with the best independent musicians in India.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of TFG Indian Football Podcast. Siju is off for the day. I'm hosting. I'm stuck in Guwahati because my train was 8 hours late, which is why I'm here on this podcast. Otherwise, I was supposed to be off. Kevin, were you supposed to be on this episode?
I don't know. No, the motivation that I get looking at you guys moving around, I think even I should be on the go more often than.
I think that should be the new standard for this podcast. And everybody's just moving around, everybody's just calling in from wherever they are, and we're just getting this done on the fly. It's too much fun. So we have a action-packed weekend coming up ahead of us. We have, I think we previewed the Indian Arrows versus Gokulam game yesterday, which is at 2 p.m. If you're listening on today, Friday, 22nd December. Then we have Chennai City versus East Bengal later today. We have an ISL game between, the so-called Southern Derby, Chennaiyin FC versus Kerala Blasters at 8 p.m. We got a Christmas break, so no games on Sunday. But ATK versus Delhi Dynamos on Saturday night, FC Goa versus Pune City on Saturday afternoon. So all of that, along with another game between Shillong Lajong and Neroka, another so-called derby, which was previewed in the previous episode. Go back and listen to it. So before we look at this mega pre-Christmas kind of a weekend fixture that we have in front of us, what happened last night? Bengaluru FC were playing Jamshedpur FC. It was their homecoming game, and just their attack seemed to be off. I don't know what's happening. And of course, Jamshedpur FC got lucky with that late penalty. Pretty well deserved. Subhashis Bose is yet to mature there. But Kevin, why did Bengaluru FC's attack go to sleep?
Firstly, I think, I'll just make that correction. I think it was Rahul Beke who gave away that penalty.
Oh, okay.
Subhashis Bose was quite okay in the midfield. I think he was doing well to contain the ball. His tackles are good. Just looking at the game, I think what we expected is a free-flowing attack from Bengaluru and Jamshedpur to just be able to do what they've been doing best, is to defend well. But I think none of those things happened. What actually went away is you got to come down to one person who makes the difference between these two sides, having this one goal to Jamshedpur. It's Subrata Paul. So had he not been there for Jamshedpur, I think it would have been at least a couple of goals in the second half itself before leading to the penalty. Sunil Chhetri was looking very frustrated, I think, arguably so, because he was the man, he was the wall between the Bengaluru attack and their goal. I think Belfort yesterday was kind of one of the best performances that he gave. The ball that he slipped to Jerry, I think that was a good one. A couple of saves by Gurpreet also. Gurpreet was, more for the most part, I think he did not have much to do. It is one or two occasions where he was called up very close to the action inside the box. And Belfort were obviously did not anticipate one or two balls that he got inside the box. Jairo was okay. His crosses were not very accurate, and that's what Jamshedpur suffer from. When you don't have quality balls coming into the box, you don't have players who are expecting or anticipating those balls. So, Bengaluru FC with their attacks, they could not score. It was just because of one man, Subrata Paul. And Jamshedpur, I think they had the luck factor on their side. I think they played okay in defense. They weren't very great. I won't say they were ultra defensive as well. because at times, the scramble was such that it was only Thierry who could manage the ball well. He was standing his ground, and he was more responsible to get the ball away on the right time and the right place. Chiranjit, what do you feel? Bengaluru FC, coming, they've reached their peak at ISL and on the way down.
Well, it kind of reminds me of last season, actually. You remember Bengaluru FC started with back-to-back 3 wins in their I-League campaign. Right? They beat Shillong Lajong, Chennai City, Mumbai FC. Then they faced East Bengal away and they lost. Then they faced Churchill Brothers, they lost. Al Wadat beat them in the ACL, I think, last season, in the ACL qualifier. So that kind of sort of put them off their game, and something similar seems to be happening here. They faced actually DSK Shivajians, where Subrata Paul was the goalkeeper, and that was another draw. Like they just seem to be dropping points everywhere. ISL held them, Minerva Punjab held them, Mumbai FC held them. Then East Bengal beat them again, and that's what killed their campaign last season. There was a period between mid-January and early February where they just kept dropping points and losing games and draws. It was just losses and draws for them. So I think they didn't win another match before March. So entire month of February was just no win for them last season. Kind of seems like a similar thing. I don't want to make historical comparisons, but is this a Roca kind of a problem where he just starts off with an established format of attack, of midfield or whatever, and then people figure it out and it becomes easy to hold them off? I don't want to take away from Subrata Paul's credit here, because it seems like that Subrata should deserve more credit than whatever the entire blame that we're putting on the Bengaluru FC attack. I don't think if this was any other goalkeeper, somebody less spectacular or less experienced than Subrata, that Jamshedpur get a clean sheet here. But it just shows that how much milking Jamshedpur FC can do from having that one crucial goalkeeping position sorted. And what a game it was for them. I think they got a bit lucky. I mean, I didn't see the whole match. I saw highlights. So I'm gonna say that probably a draw was a fair result, but this is what happens in a league. You play game after game. Some days you get lucky, some days you don't, and your opponent gets a penalty at the last moment and they sneak up a win. So this Bengaluru FC they have now lost 3 of their last 5 games. And they are on 7 after 7 matches. They're on 12 points, second in the table, but good chance for Chennaiyin FC and FC Goa to both overtake them. Jamshedpur FC have now won 2 of their last 3 games, and they're looking a little bit better. I think it's 9 points from 6 games, so they're trying to just make a sort of a comeback. But I think one thing I want to come back at, it's not like Bengaluru FC were at their best defensively last night, right? Mm-hmm. And still it took Jamshedpur FC till a penalty in the added time to get that goal, and that one penalty goal has kind of taken their total tally of goals scored to 2. 6 matches, 2 goals scored. And despite the win, both the times they scored a goal, they got a win. So you gotta give them props for that. They milked their goals to the most extreme. But is this a worrying sign going forward for Jamshedpur that they're not getting goals at all at this point?
Well, I think Kopal is well aware of the fact that they are not able to score as much as they're able to defend well, and that will remain the fact unless. So I find Jamshedpur FC's attack one of the weakest in ISL, and it just goes to show that there's no much real coordination between your holding midfield and your delivery to the forward line.
Yeah, and just Samik Doughty is having problem with the club management apparently, but apparently he's staying. That's coming from Khel Now, by the way. So all of these drama going on and then behind the scenes, and let's just hope both these teams recover. Bengaluru FC recover from their losing streak, and Jamshedpur FC recover from their non-scoring streak. You're not going to get a penalty every game. So that's what happened yesterday night at ISL. And today we're looking at, if you're probably listening to this after 2 p.m. on Friday, so we're going to look at Chennai City versus East Bengal, which is at 5:30 p.m. If look at your clock, if it's close to 5:30, stop listening and watch the match. It's on Star Sports 2. So East Bengal, they have won the last two matches after the Mohun Bagan defeat that seems to have given them a kick in the gut, and they're on a recovery path. Chennai City FC, after trying so hard, losing 3 of their first 4 games, they finally got a win on board in their previous game. They beat Churchill Brothers away from home, and this is historic in terms of they're playing at their new home ground. They're playing at Coimbatore, so what? Just looking at the squads, looking at this matchup, what does it seem, Kevin?
They're obviously facing a side that they're not going to be giving up. Even if they're 2-0 up, they will obviously go back again and again and again, try to get as many goals as possible. They want to keep that pressure. They want to keep that stability that they want at the top before they'll go on and lose a couple of matches in the season. So then it's obviously a target for them to get a better goal than they would want to. But for Chennai City, what can they do? So the way they've approached the last game against Churchill Brothers, I think that's how they should be playing. Edwin and Susai Raj. So these guys are very instrumental, in getting the team gelled together, and their performance is always the key. But looking at the forward line, I think they've just been fabulous in the last game. I hope they're able to carry that momentum coming into this game. Obviously, they will not get an easy defense like Churchill Brothers, because they were just all over the place. The defense was not there for Churchill Brothers, and it just made their job easier to come and score goals. So, how are they going to match up to players like that Katsumi Hughes are there, who's not a media, who will not allow even one little space for the midfielders like Edwin. I think I'm sure that these guys will be very well kept at bay, and that will be the problem that Chennai City will face. They won't be allowed too much space to create anything, and they will want to depend on one or two mistakes here and there, and probably go in just to be defensive at first, and then maybe play on counter attacks to some sort of consolation, because I don't see a strong side like East Bengal just giving Chennai City an easy way today.
Okay, and you're looking at, of course, we have, in terms of data, we are lucky because both these teams played their last match against Churchill Brothers, and both these teams won. So it seems like at this stage of the league last season, we were still talking about Khalid Jamil as a ultra defensive coach, and it's funny how you are talking about Khalid Jamil's team just going on attack after whatever happens. So that's what they did against Churchill Brothers. It was 2-2 for most of the second half. They got that win by Plaza's goal at I think 7 minutes into added time. What was up with that? So it just seems like Churchill Brothers' defensive flaws have been playing a big role here, and them being run over by teams like East Bengal and Chennai City. But just look at this East Bengal defense, Kevin. This Eduardo, this Arnab is getting a start, which has actually made the defense way more mature. There's Singh is there as well. It doesn't really seem like that it doesn't look like a team that can let's say you put East Bengal and Churchill Brothers team next to each other. East Bengal defense does not look like a team that will get 2 goals from Churchill Brothers. Right. And do you think that sort of gives you indications that there is still some fatal flaw that can be exploited by Chennai City today?
Yes, it all goes on to the homework that the coach has done about the team. No team is undefeatable. Obviously, there will be some flaws that can be looked into and exploited. But again, this is not one team that concedes and has no backup plan to respond to that. They will obviously come back at Chennai City whatever time of the game it is, and it's easy. It should be easy for East Bengal to by the time their flaws are exposed, they've already got the job done. Maybe a 2-goal or 3-goal lead into the game will have them relax and have more cover at the back line where these flaws can be. Because obviously Khalid Jamil also knows where his team can be lacking.
So definitely it's looking like a interesting matchup. A lot of East Bengal fans have travelled to Coimbatore. I think they are making it a weekend trip to Ooty afterwards. And if you're in Coimbatore, it's just a taxi ride away. So it's actually a really good pre-Christmas holiday plan. Props to them for planning it out. So lots of away fans who have been accommodated by Chennai City. Chennai City are not charging them for the tickets, which is great. They're welcoming visitors. And hopefully people of Coimbatore also turn up. It's a pre-festive fixture. It's Friday before Christmas and should be a cracker. Predictions, Kevin?
I see goals, but none from Chennai City. 2-0 win for East Bengal.
Okay, pretty good. I kind of tend to agree. I think it's going to be about 2-1. I want to see Suseraj get on the score sheet for some reason. I think is he from Chennai or I think he's from somewhere, a district area somewhere near Coimbatore. I may be wrong about that. But anyway, that's about it in the first half. You got the Shillong Vajong versus Neroka game, which I will be lucky. I think I'm going to get the privilege to attend tomorrow. That game's preview is available on the previous episode, which you can listen to. Just scroll up. And on the second half, we will talk about all the ISL action on Friday and Saturday as we wrap up this intense footballing action season and take a breather for 3-4 days during Christmas time. So stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Sanjeev.
And I'm Tushar.
And this is the Rotomouth Podcast, a weekly show where we talk about motors and motoring in India. Cars, bikes, rickshaws, buses, friends, familiars, and time pass.
Find us every week on the IVM Podcast app or any other app you might use. Stuck in traffic? Put on Rotomouth. Taking a while in the loo? Rotomouth is there for you.
Dude, that sounded particularly disgusting.
Thank you. But seriously, catch Rotomouth every week.
Alright guys, welcome back. You're listening to TFG Indian Football Podcast and we are looking at the 3 ISL matches that are going to happen over this weekend. Friday night fixture is Chennaiyin FC versus Kerala Blasters. The Manyapara Brigade has been travelling and they have been just sneaking up at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium near the Marina Beach for the last few days. They're waiting with the big banners and they're ready to paint the town yellow. And Chennaiyin FC, obviously, Beast and Blues are pretty much trying to get in their way and keep it blue, basically. So Chennaiyin FC coming off of a very important win against Bengaluru FC, and Kerala Blasters I think last played Northeast United. That was a home win for them. So both teams a little bit upbeat. So they're going to try to call it a derby, obviously. Kevin, who do you think wins this air quotes derby?
Yet another derby in ISL.
So many derbies.
Long history. Such a long history of derbies.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking at Chennai, I think they're doing well. I'm impressed by the way the squad has been rotated and yet able to grind out some good performances. I think we've talked about this in the past as well. Kerala Blasters are slowly getting there. I think the goal that they scored is equivalent to the losses that they wanted to convert into draws. I think this goal just makes it up for everything. What a good ball that was from Rino Anto and Vineet there with a flying header. They want to see more of such goals.
But by the way, that's a goal made at Bengaluru FC. yeah. Now bring on the hit. Everybody's gonna hit me. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that's the kind of goal that you're expecting to see players who've played together for so long, and that's a working combination, obviously. Two Kerala players just getting the best out of each other. But don't you think, Chiranjeev, now that this type of crosses and this type of finish is expected from somebody else other than Vineet as well?
Yes, of course. But we don't know when he's going to come back in. But I'm actually surprised that Barbatov obviously got injured. We don't know if he's going to be fit for this game. Obviously, Rene will want him to be there. But now that he's out, Ian Hume was not started. I mean, Stefanos is doing well. Pekersen is good as well. But are both of them better than Hume, who has a history of performing well for Kerala Blasters and ATK in this tournament?
But looking at Hume, I think we've already seen how he does. He's got that form that he goes when he gets in like 3-4 goals in 2 or 3 games, and then he's got a period where he doesn't score at all. But then he is that way. It's not surprising that Hume shouldn't be given game time if he's just going through a bad phase. Because even if he's not scoring, he's always there, putting in that physical presence, and that's what is really important.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised that Hume isn't getting so little game time this season, but we'll see as the whole thing progresses. But the Rino Anto and the Milan Singh kind of a wing combo, it looks good, and it's just the kind of thing that might trouble Chennaiyin FC, because you see the wingers that Bengaluru FC used. I just don't see the same kind of speed available at that moment. Like Udanta Singh, yeah, he's gonna have the speed, but on the other end, it's just not the same. You just don't have a concerted pressure of the flanks. And you have Chennaiyin FC, who have got some pretty good, really good people out there in the central defense. Serrano is there, Calderon is there, Milson is there. These are people who are gonna take care of a central attack, right? And you really have to just keep up a pressure from the sides as well if you're gonna have a sustained effect on this Chennaiyin FC side. Defensively, they've been quite okay. 7 goals, 6 matches, not bad in a hectic league like this. So, yeah, how do you think Kerala Blasters attack actually surviving this and actually making use of this? By the way, just 4 goals so far from Kerala Blasters. That's not looking so good at all.
Yeah, I think the way the signings were, I think we would expected at least double the figures by now, but sadly that's not the case.
Yeah.
This game actually looks more favorable to Chennaiyin FC, being obviously their home game, and the way they've they are very composed, and they don't seem to haste on things, and that's what the best part is. Look at JJ as well. If you just make a comparison of Hume and JJ, JJ has been given an opportunity every game, but not that he started firing immediately. He did get a while to get going, get his name on the score sheet. The first goal that he scored did not come in the first 2 games. So that's the kind of game that I'm expecting tonight as well. JJ, having the confidence and trust of his manager John Gregory, I think this looks favorable to Chennai for another win.
So yeah, the difference between these two teams is pretty obvious. Chennai FC have conceded 7 goals so far. Kerala Blasters 6 goals, but Chennai have scored 11. And that in the end, they just seem to have so many finishers out there. You got JJ who can obviously score. You got Dhanpal Ganesh who came up and scored in the last game. Right? This Fernandez, Rafael Augusto can finish as well. Too many. So score predictions from you, Kevin.
Chennai look, I don't know, somehow they just look very strong to me. They have got a balanced side. If their strikers are not firing, the midfielders, the defenders come forward and just get in the goals. So again, it should look like a 2-1 or a 3-1 to Chennai FC.
We have had a lot of bad blood between these two teams. Of course, no one can forget the 2014 semi-final encounter that they had, which was I think 4 goals either way or something like that. 5-4 in the second leg and 4-1 in the second leg, 4-0 in the first leg. But I just don't think either team will score too many. Maybe a 1-0 win to Chennai FC or a 1-1 draw, but who knows, if enough Manyapada fans show up and they shake the team up from the stands and Rene decides to start Ian Hume, something else might happen. So let's see how that goes. That's about Friday night. Saturday we have a doubleheader. We got FC Goa taking on Pune City. FC Goa are at the top of the table. They're on song. Pune City are sitting 5th. They just always seem to be around 5th and 6th. And there's nothing that the club management wants more than being in the top 4, which keeps eluding them. FC Goa looking like set for a win?
I'm still waiting for that day when that phase of winning, the phase of scoring comes down. I think that's when we will get to know the real test will begin for FC Goa. And maybe this is game. I always keep saying this is a game. But then that's always the character test that you want your team to go through when you're not able to score goals. And just a side that plays so much on counter attack. Maybe this is one game where Pune goes 2 goals up by chance, and then that's when you see how FC Goa can come back.
It just doesn't seem like anybody has been putting them to that kind of challenge so far, and this is another home game for them, right? And Pune City, I'm not exactly sure how competent they are at this point in order to put up a proper fight against this team. I hope they get in there and they sort of put in a challenge which really gets you going, kind of stuff like that. But just look at the way they have played against strong attacks in this team. They lost 1-3 to Bengaluru FC. Delhi Dynamos beat them 3-2, and it just does not seem like they have performed well against any team that has a strong attack. And I don't really have too much data to go by because they have not faced Chennai FC yet. So it's just going by the way they buckled in the second half. Although they played so well in the first half, they buckled under pressure in the second half from Bengaluru FC. It just seems like FC Goa playing at home with being so good with scoring goals doesn't give me much of a hope that FC Pune City will survive that long, in order to just try to use their counters, use their moments and get back into the game.
Yeah, that's what you're saying is that, that's also going on in my mind. When you actually want to get going and then you're stopped in midway, but you're still looking back on your performance saying that you've got the results, then you just analyze and saying that have we faced the best team as yet? Have we faced the pressure? Maybe not so. Maybe that is the time when somebody just shows you how deeply troubled are you and how well can you come out of that.
Yeah, of course. 9 days gap for Pune City since their last game, so they will be well prepared. They will want to go ahead and win this and be there in the top 4. We all know that they just want that to happen. They've been trying since 2014 to be in the semi-finals. Hasn't happened yet. Maybe this is their year. What's the prediction for this game?
I really want to see Pune City, coming out best from the rest that they've got. Maybe get in the 2 early goals and then just see how FC Goa reacts to that home advantage. Maybe again it goes FC Goa's way and you do see a 2-0, 3-0 to FC Goa. But I'm hoping for a tight game. A 1-0 to FC Goa will really start the alarm bells ringing for other teams as well. Okay, so they are beatable, some sort of that.
Well, yeah, they did lose. They lost to Mumbai City away from home, 2-1. Bit of a scrappy win, but that's one loss on their record. So I think it's a 2-0 win for FC Goa. Let's see how that turns out. ATK versus Delhi Dynamos. As we
are we allowed to laugh here?
I don't know. ATK have made a comeback. They won the last game, beat Mumbai City 1-0 away from home. They're coming back to Kolkata after a long time. They're playing Delhi Dynamos, who are in a race to the bottom. They're first from the other way around. Actually, like if you're a fan of Stranger Things, they're top of the table in the upside down. So that's really good for them. But 4 back-to-back losses. Do you think they'd make a comeback, Delhi Dynamos?
Even if this is a 1-all draw, I think it will be a great result for just shaking off the bad phase that they're going through. Yes, I think it's a problem of too many changes and then not knowing which is your best team. Unless you do find that out and stick to that core team of yours, it's never going to work. It changes all the time. Even the players don't get used to the combination that the coach wants. I think that's the whole idea. Maybe just stick around for one core team for at least another 2 games.
It's looking like something of a chance for both teams. ATK want to cement their return in form, and it's a I don't know. Now you're playing another team which is towards the bottom of the table. They have a consistent record of losing. If you don't take these chances, I don't know when you're gonna make it happen. I'm talking about Delhi Dynamos, of course. Kalu Uche scored against FC Goa, but it just seemed like the defense just buckled. And we praised them so much for signing those young players. It seems like they're looking at more and more the it's not like those signings are gonna deliver immediately. Point 1. Point 2 is they are now looking like they want to focus on the experience in the team. Like Pritam Kotal, Rodriguez started, Lugun started, and a lot of emphasis is going towards the foreigners. So does it seem like they are sort of in a schizophrenic state? They have a lot of good youngsters. They don't think they can use them at this moment. Miguel Portugal has an imbalance of experience and youth, and it just doesn't seem like either strategy is working for them. Like what do they do at this point, Kevin?
Yeah, as I said, I think the first way to get going is try to understand what is your best combination so far. Just play that combination for at least a couple of games. So let them focus on their strengths and see how things work. And before making a small change, just see if it has worked for a while or no. I think Chante I think he was brilliant. He should be playing more often. Pritam Kotar, you should give him some more time. He will settle in. Obviously, he's not at his best at the moment. I am not sure why Mirabai is not being played. Is it because he's injured or whatever the reason is? But you need that combination that worked for the first time in the first game to have played more often.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's compulsion. Maybe it's just that he still wants to find his best combination out there. But there's the problem. You don't find that out in the league. You find that out in the preseason. You can't just keep dropping points like that. At this point, it just seems almost we're just 1 month into the 1 or 2 months, whatever, just over 1 month into the league, and they already seem to have been pretty far out of the top 4 spot. So it's a sad time for Delhi Dynamos, and ATK are sort of trying to make a comeback. Do you think ATK get their win?
Yeah, ATK, I think they do know at least which is their core team, and they've stuck to that. Hitesh Sharma obviously has got the coach's confidence, but he's not delivering as consistently as expected. Zakina is there, Kuchi is there, Robin Singh is delivered. Look what he brings to the field. So you talk about a striker who's a second half substitute, but what effect has he got when he comes to the field? You always see that, and I think these are lessons that Teddy Sheringham has already got into the team, and Robbie Keane coming back to the team obviously strengthens him. I think they're much better than Delhi Dynamos, and they're much more stable. So this looks favorable to ATK for a win.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go with ATK as well because they have scored in the last few games. Like they just almost held Chennaiyin FC to a draw away from home, which is commendable result. Yeah. And they got the away win against Mumbai City. I think they're gonna win. Just the fact that the Delhi Dynamos attack is not as good as Chennaiyin FC attack, and the Delhi Dynamos defense is not as good as the Mumbai City defense. So yeah, it's probably gonna happen. 2-0 win.
2-0 win probably.
Yeah, it's a tough times for Delhi Dynamos. Maybe they can make something happen. The good news for them is that we're breaking for Christmas for a few days, and the transfer window opens in January. Rohan Sharma, we know he's already looking at different options here and there, and let's see how things work out for DDFC. So that's about the weekend. We are gonna obviously we're gonna break for Christmas too on 25th December. Kevin, what are your plans on Christmas Day?
Lots of plans. I think eating and then wishing and making merry is on the top of the list. Football can take a back seat for some time.
Yeah, at least for one day. Of course, I'm planning to walk around Shillong, the entire city, and watch the different churches. Freaking place looks like so amazing. I was in ISL earlier this month, and the decorations were already up. Now it's going to look like surreal, different dreamland. Can't wait to be there, and of course eat and drink and make merry. So Merry Christmas to you, Kevin.
Yeah, wish you the same, and so to the listeners, have a great Christmas, and do send in your wishes for all the teams so that they get a good rest, and we see a more action-packed week, more action-packed game once they're back from making merry.
Yeah, and we all know what Rohan Sharma is gonna ask from Santa Claus: 3 points. So let's hope that works out for him. It's gonna be Boxing Day, 26th December, when we are gonna return to our daily scheduling on YouTube, SoundCloud, Audio Boom podcast, and various other podcasting platforms. You can also download and listen to us on IVM Podcasts app or ivmpodcasts.com. They have some pretty cool shows up there, all Indian podcasts, the best Indian podcast, I would say. So give them a listen. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Winter Solstice to everybody of you out there, and join us again on Tuesday. Bye.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started ATKT.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through ATKT.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. ATKT.in.
एक्सक्यूज मी भैया, एक्सक्यूज मी।
बोलिए मैडम।
मेन्यू में क्या है?
मेन्यू में सीन अनसीन है, पॉडकास्ट है, ऑन कोर्स है, साइरस है, मेड इन इंडिया, रीडिस्कवरी प्रोजेक्ट, एम्पावरिंग सीरीज, सेक्स वैक्स है, IVM लाइक्स है, सिंप्लीफाइड है, कीपिंग इट क्वियर है, थिंग्स एंड डेस्टिनेशंस है, माय नेबर जकरबर्ग है और द फैन गराज है। आपको क्या चाहिए?
एक बार रिपीट कर देंगे क्या?
रिपीट नहीं करता हम। आप जाओ IVMpodcast.com पे और सुनो ये सब, या फिर डाउनलोड करो उनका ऐप, सब आपकी उंगलियों पे।